a fundamental impact on a child's education and future life chances. Now, this government is bringing in extra support for all disadvantaged children, including white working class children, which I know my honourable friend sees as key to no area being left behind. The DfE have set up the Hungry Little Minds campaign targeting low-income parents to support their child's early language development, which is key to help them set up for school and boost their life chances.
We're now going to go on to topicals, but topicals questions to the Minister for Women and Equalities. As topical 1 has been withdrawn, I call Secretary Liz Truss to answer topical 2 from Dr Luke Evans, who is participating virtually.
Mr Speaker, and as we turn to the summer holidays, I'm interested to know what steps the government's taking to tackle the effects of body image.
Minister, please, you've got to answer as though number 1. That's why I read it out, please. Yeah, they switched to Luke onto work.
Mr Speaker, I've been clear that the government is committed to tackling the abhorrent practice of so-called gay conversion therapy in the UK. As the Prime Minister reiterated earlier this week, this practice has no place in civilised society. Our action will be determined by research to look at how best to define conversion therapy, the scale of the issue, where it is happening and who it is happening to. When that is complete, I will bring forward proposals to ban conversion therapy, making sure that our measures are effective so that no innocent people have to endure these tortuous practices.
Dr Luke Evans.
We're turning to this summer holiday recess. It looks like we all need it. With that in mind, what steps is the government taking to tackle the effects of body image issues on young people? And will the Minister meet with me to consider the merits of a law that requires a logo to be displayed where an image of the human body or body part has been digitally altered in its proportions?
We are working closely with the Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport on the issue of body image and the impact it will have on young people. And I'd be happy to organise a meeting, possibly with those ministers who are leading on this issue. I also welcome the work that the Women and Equality Select Committee is doing on this subject.
Let's return to Shadow Minister Marcia de Cordova.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Last week, the government published details of the Commission on Race and Ethnic Disparities and announced its chair, who has previously said much of the supposed evidence of institutional racism is flimsy. Yet we know that black workers with degrees earn on average 23% less than their white counterparts. The need for action is urgent. Inaction is costing members of the black, Asian and minority ethnic communities both their livelihoods and their lives. So what assurances can the Minister give the House today that her government is serious about finally ending institutional racism?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I think it's important to clarify that Dr Sewell, who chairs the Commission, has not denied that structural racism exists. However, he understands that disparities have a variety of causes, such as class and geography, which the Commission is going to be examining in closer detail. And it is the findings of this Commission which will address the issues which the Honourable Lady rightly says are urgent and need addressing.
Good team, yeah.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Can I welcome the Race Disparity Commission? And as someone who's worked alongside many brilliant organisations to root out entrenched disadvantage, can she assure me that the work that's being done will be there to build the evidence base so that the policy is based on outcomes, not outrage?
I absolutely agree with my honourable friend. The national conversation on race has been distorted by some seeking to exploit racial tensions without any recognition of the progress we have made as a multi-ethnic democracy and society. So guided by the evidence, this Commission will improve and inform this conversation. It will use data to look at complex and interdependent factors in the round to better understand why disparities exist and what action can be taken to reduce them. The Commission will be producing evidence-based recommendations, Mr Speaker.
Let's head to Lewisham with Vicky Foxcroft. Vicky Foxcroft.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The Federation of Small Businesses' new report, Unlocking Opportunity, identifies a number of barriers faced by ethnic minority-led businesses, which contribute more than $25 billion to the UK economy. Will the Minister raise the report's key recommendations with colleagues at the Treasury, in particular the setting up of a dedicated scheme to help EMBs access external finance, helping them to flourish and our local economies to thrive.
Yes, as the Treasury Minister, I am going to be considering the findings of that report. So I thank the Honourable Lady for raising that.
Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gender pay gap reporting has been suspended because of the coronavirus crisis. As the economic downturn is likely to disproportionately affect women, does the Secretary of State agree that it's important that gender pay gap reporting starts again immediately?
Well, I thank my honourable friend for her question. The key priority during the coronavirus crisis is to make sure we keep women in jobs. And that has been our #1 focus as a government. Of course, it's vitally important we address the issues that cause the gender pay gap, and we continue on helping more girls study maths and science, which I talked about earlier, and we also continue on addressing discrimination in the workplace.
Heading to Scotland to visit Kirstin Oswald. Kirstin Oswald.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last year, the UK government consulted on extending redundancy to women unions. And then in July 2019, the UK government committed to improving redundancy protection. However, no legislation since then. Can you provide an update on what progress has been made, or is it as